Last night, a Jedi was murdered.
There's something innately exciting about how the Acolyte brings us to a never-before-seen era of Star Wars. About 100 years before the rise of the Empire, at the tail end of the High Republic period featured in recent books and comics. It allows us to dive into a very different galaxy, one where no one's heard the names Skywalker or Palpatine, and where a thriving Jedi Order functions more along the lines of what we know from the prequel trilogy. After 5 consecutive series set either during or after the Empire's rule, Disney Plus's latest live-action Star Wars series changes things up from the get-go, and that time frame, along with some intriguing story ideas, provides a strong hook. But those aren't quite enough to bring balance to the first 4 episodes, which, on a filmmaking level, feel more TV than Star Wars ever has, thus losing much of its defining epic quality.
The Jedi justify their galactic dominance in the name of peace.
Amandla Stenberg does good work establishing twin sisters May and Osha as 2 distinct characters, imbuing each half of her dual role with different mannerisms and energies. Both sisters have trained in the ways of the Force, May by a mysterious Sith master, and Osha at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, before leaving the Jedi behind. It's a solid setup and a nice spotlight for Stenberg, who's been an engaging on-screen presence since her breakout performance in The Hunger Games, and up through projects like The Hate U Give and Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
I didn't do it! Please believe me!
The Acolyte was created by Leslie Headland, best known for co-creating Netflix's excellent Russian Doll. You can tell she's a big Star Wars fan, and she does commendable work showing how your average Jedi Knight or Master does the job of keeping the peace during this era. Her new series follows characters who operate under the Jedi Council, who are referenced but unseen in the first 4 episodes, and must navigate both that power structure and the exterior element of the Republic Senate. The Acolyte finds another anchor in one such character, Jedi Master Saul, who draws Osha into the hunt for May after the assassination of a Jedi in a thrilling series-opening brawl. Lee Jung-jae gives a standout performance, exuding Saul's innate Jedi calm and wisdom mixed with regret. The Squid Game star conveys a lot through his facial expressions, giving us insight into Saul and the burdens he carries without saying a word.
Let me be the one to bring her in.
A big underlying element in George Lucas's Star Wars prequels was the arrogance and hubris of the Jedi, which built up within the Order to the point that it was weaponized against them. The Acolyte shows the emergence of these flaws and finds some of its most interesting material in topics introduced in those movies, such as the methods of how the Order finds and takes in Force-sensitive children not being as universally beloved or accepted as Qui-Gon Jinn made them sound.
It's time to face the past.
Where the Acolyte often falters is in its tone, and how much it struggles to capture that intangible yet oh so familiar Star Wars feeling. The franchise shouldn't be expected to maintain one specific approach for every project. The differences between The Mandalorian and Andor, for example, prove the benefits of exploring different genres of storytelling within this universe. Yet both of those shows still feel fundamentally Star Wars. In its visual style and storytelling, The Acolyte feels a bit off in this regard.
What are you?
The Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi each took knocks for their visuals and feeling more fake, but The Acolyte is the most a Star Wars show has felt like, well, a TV show. There's often an overt artificiality to the sets, costumes, and makeup that underlines how this series lacks the cinematic production values we expect from Star Wars. And before you point a finger at ILM's polarizing video walls, aka the volume, those weren't used for The Acolyte. To be clear, it's not that it feels low budget. This is obviously a very expensive series packed with special effects, but this is a franchise that has typically operated at a different and grander scale than this. In terms of the long-running sci-fi institution it most readily evokes, the flatter visual language and the character interactions of The Acolyte often feel more like Star Trek than Star Wars. In addition, some of the plot points feel clunky. Characters change their mind about something far too quickly or escape danger in a strangely convenient manner, along with some attempts at humorous banter that don't earn a laugh.
This is about power and who is allowed to use it.
More often than not, The Acolyte is at its best when dealing with the conflict between the 2 sisters and Saul's dynamic with them. Also, it has some great and innovative fight scenes. Early episodes hold off on traditional lightsaber versus lightsaber battles, instead focusing on the knife-wielding May's one-on-one fights with various Jedi like Saul or Carrie Ann Moss's Indara. This allows us to see Jedi characters using martial arts in an exciting and well-choreographed way, underlining just how skilled they are in combat that doesn't involve laser swords. Moss puts her Matrix background to very cool use, use, showing Indara's nearly effortless counters to May's attacks.
Who trained you?
Elsewhere, The Good Place's Manny Jacinto has fun representing the smuggler scoundrel element of Star Wars, while Daphne Keene forges a warm rapport with Stenberg as Osha forms a bond with Saul's Padawan, Jecki Lawn. Charlie Barnett, who previously worked with Headland on Russian Doll, has a bit of a thankless role as the by-the-book Jedi Yord, who feels extraneous to the story in the first 4 episodes. But we'll see if that changes in the second half of the season.
I sense this is only a small part of a larger plan.
Setting its story in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away allows the Acolyte to feel fresh and different from other recent live-action Star Wars series, with an intriguing storyline that seems to be setting the stage for the return of the Sith we know is coming. However, outside of its exciting Jedi fight scenes, its execution sometimes feels off, with frequent cheesy moments and a lack of visual flair that contributes to the ongoing concern that all these Star Wars streaming series have diminished the epic nature of the franchise and what makes it special. Taken on its own terms, The Acolyte does offer some enjoyable character dynamics and an enticing mystery, but its first 4 episodes fail to coalesce into something that truly shines. But look, it does have a Wookiee Jedi, and that's always a plus. For more TV reviews, check out what we thought of Dead Boy Detectives and Knuckles. And for everything else, stick with IGN.